We've just had a story which illustrates how disastrous it is to get caught up in notions of personal identity. The story took the form of three demons who were completely invincible until they got caught up with notions of ego sense. Vasistha continued. Thus you see the disastrous results that arise from non-wisdom. You see how the invincible demons were utterly defeated and disgraced on account of their ego sense, which gave rise to fear in their hearts. The deadly creeper of worldliness sprouts from the seed of the ego sense. Therefore, O Rama, abandon this ego sense with all the strength that lies within, and by being established in the conviction, I is nothing, be happy. This conviction, I is nothing, or what we mean by the word I is nothing, it could be understood in two senses. One sense is one that's been discussed before, notably back in chapter 100 of section 3, where we could see the entire universe and also the I as the absolute Brahman, and that theme, that emphasis, that understanding of the word I is also explored later on in chapter 33 of this section. So we could understand I is nothing also in the sense of I is absolute Brahman, but I think here in the sense I is nothing, it's in the sense of it doesn't really have any real meaning, what we mean by I. So we can give up in it. I here just means personal identity. Here's notions. It means notions about who we are. And if we give up in it, we can be happy. If we stop worrying about ourselves and what others think about us, then we can be happy. The one infinite consciousness, which is of the nature of pure bliss, is eclipsed by the shadow of the ego sense. So when we give up worrying about our personality and our ego identity, we're opening up to something more wonderful. We're opening up to the one infinite consciousness, which here is described as of the nature of pure bliss. And I've spoken about this bliss thing before. This certainly is how it appears to some people, although sometimes it's described as harmony and equanimity. The Buddha, when he was talking about this sort of thing, described that moment of enlightenment, of liberation or of insight, as it was like putting down a great weight that you hadn't realised you were carrying. There's a sense of relief, and this is more how I see it. There's a tremendous sense of relief of not having to worry about anything. And certainly it's blissful in the sense that there's no negativity. It's a place without any negativity. And all that's eclipsed when you get caught up with focusing on notions of personal identity. Though the demons, Dhamma, Vyala and Kata, were really free from the cycle of birth and death, on account of their ego sense they had to be subjected to birth and death. They of whom even the gods were afraid are totally miserable fish in a lake in Kashmir, which happened to be what they ended up as unhappy fish in a lake in Kashmir. Perhaps we shouldn't take this from the story, but it seems to indicate the reversibility of this egoless state. So once you've touched this egoless state, it is possible to actually devolve, if you like, to get caught up in an ego. Egoistic notions can be introduced. Rama asked, "Holy Sir, Dhamma, Vyala and Kata were unreal, having been produced by the magic of Sambara. How was it that they became real entities like us?" Yeah, they were magical creations, these demons, and they battled the gods into submission. But we've got a slightly different tack now that we're going on. Vasistha replied, "Ram, just as the demons Dhamma and others were unreal and the products of magic, even so are we and all the gods and others. All these notions of I and you, O Ram, are unreal. That you and I are seen to be real entities does not alter the truth. Even if a dead person appears before you now, he's still dead." Our whole experience of reality is filtered through our notions about it. No, I and you are simply notions. When you look into these things, when you examine them by what's called direct inquiry, they don't hold up. The notions it becomes apparent that they're notions, and we're so used to actually thinking of these notions as being real, rather than as simply notions. But this is what doesn't matter what these notions are. You know, the underlying fact is that they are simply notions. And now we've got a little point which I take kind of personally. "However, it is unwise to declare the truth, that Brahman alone is real, to the ignorant. For the reality of the world appearance, which has become deep-rooted in the heart of the ignorant, will not be dispelled except through intense inquiry into the purport of the scriptures. One who declares, 'This world is unreal, Brahman alone is real,' to such ignorant people is laughed at. However well you explain to them that all this is Brahman, the ignorant cannot comprehend it any more than a corpse can walk. That truth can be experienced only by the wise." Yeah, I'm doing these videos. I'm putting them up onto YouTube. I'm not expecting many people to look at them. They'll probably take a look at this. There's not much to see here, just some old guy droning on in front of an orange piece of cloth. I mean, hopefully I'm not going to get laughed at. Somebody will just click in this for a few seconds and then click somewhere else, and they can go and look at something funny or amusing. So I think I'll be ignored. But there might be some people out there who'll think it's worth persevering, getting on with the Yoga Vasistha, and perhaps having me there as somebody who might give a bit of encouragement and help get to what this is about.